Good morning. I've been thinking about you being alone, or at least you had to be in your house, you can't go out. And how can you make music while you're in your house? Maybe you don't have instruments. So I thought maybe we could talk about ways that you could make instruments from the things you found around your house. Today we are going to make an instrument from glasses, like drinking glasses, and water. By the time we finish this lesson, I hope that there's a few things you'll understand. Number one is that sound is waves in the air. I hope that you will understand the relationship between the weight of an object and the sound that it makes. Also, I hope that you will understand that you'll be able to hear how to go from do to the other sounds in the scale, like from do to re, do to mi, do to fa, do to so, etc. Because we're going to tune our glasses that way. Okay, let's get started. We're going to talk about sound, and sound is basically waves in the air. So if I snap my fingers, what happens as soon as that impact happens, that creates waves in the air, and those waves go radiating out into your eardrum. Your eardrum vibrates back and forth, sends that message to your brain, and you hear the sound. Okay, so if we're going to make an instrument from this glass, we have to, just sitting there, it won't make any sound. We have to get it vibrating. So to get it vibrating, I'm going to tap it. So when I tap the glass, it starts to vibrate, and those vibrations then make waves in the air, and that's how we hear it. All right, now you notice that I hit it with this screwdriver, hit it with the back with a handle of my screwdriver, and I was experimenting to see what other things I could hit it with that would make a good sound. I've got my great-grandfather's hammer here, so I thought I would try that. I like that sound. The hammer itself has got a little bit more weight to it, and so I think it gets a different sound. And then I tried this mallet, the back of it. So I don't like that one as much because I hear more of the sound of the stick as it hits than I do the actual glass. But we'll see how that goes later. So for now, I'm going to use this screwdriver. Okay, now let's talk about how the weight of an object changes the sound. When I put water into this glass, it's going to change the pitch of it. You ready? Here we go. Okay, so you can hear it getting lower. What that means is when you put water in a glass, it essentially vibrates at the same frequency as the glass, and so the water makes it basically a bigger, heavier object, which vibrates slower than a light one does. So as we put the water in, it makes it lower. The fuller I fill the glass, the lower the sound went. You could experiment with that on your own. One other thing you might have noticed is as I was pouring it in, it really didn't make any sound for a minute, and then it would start to make the pitch again. Okay, I'm going to pour it in again, and I want you to try to figure out why when I pour the water in, does it not make a sound, a musical sound, and then after it gets still, it does make the sound. All right, listen and see if you can figure out why. Let's make a hypothesis here. All right, here's my glass, no water. Okay, did you hear it? And what's your guess? Okay, here's what happens. As the water comes in, as it's being poured in, it's moving around and not letting the glass vibrate in its normal way. It's dampening the vibrations. But once the water gets still, then it assumes the vibration of the glass itself and it can vibrate. So the water has to be still in order to function as part of the glass and let it vibrate. Okay, so the main thing we found out here was that as you pour water into a glass, it gets lower. The sound gets lower in pitch. Okay, now let's talk about making an instrument. Okay, two things to remember when you're doing this experiment. Number one, be careful because it involves two things that can make a mess. One is water, so make sure your surfaces are stable and that you move slowly and calmly so you don't spill something. And the second thing is we're using glass, which breaks. So you need to be careful that it doesn't fall off your surface, table, whatever it is, and that you don't hit hard. You're just going to tap lightly on the glasses to make the sound. Okay, let's make an instrument from drinking glasses. The first step that I took was to fill my glass all the way up with water. So that will make the lowest sound I can make. I'm going to call that sound do. Okay, so this is do for me. Alright, now we have to tune it. If you have a phone that has a tuner app, like I do, this one's called ClearTune, but there's lots of tuner apps on the App Store. So what I did was I wanted to find out what pitch is this in real life. So as it turns out, it's an F, but not quite. Now when you're using the app, it'll tell you what that is. If you don't have an app, then just fill it up, and whatever that is, we're going to call that do, and you'll tune the rest of them to whatever this bottom one is. Alright, now like I said, my F is a little bit sharp, so I'm going to pour some water in, and while I do it, I'm going to see if I can get it. I'm going to watch my tuner, and when it gets right down to exactly F, I'll quit filling. Okay, my tuner says that's pretty much exactly an F. Alright, now since some of you are tuning by ear, then we're going to try singing what the next pitch is, so we're going to go in that order. And if you have a tuner on your phone, then that will be easy. You can just follow along. Okay, now we've got our bottom note, and my tuner said that's an F, so I'm going to hum that one. And we're going to try to find so next. Well, that sound from do to so is ooh, ooh. All right, now this sound, that's higher than so. Ooh. So that means I have to put a little more water in here to bring it down to ooh. It's a little high. Still. Do. Ooh. That's actually do la. So I have to bring it down. It was at la. I have to bring it down some more. More water in until it gets down to so. Ooh. 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 Aha. Ooh. So that's my do and so. Now I'm going to try to tune fa. that means I'm going to have to go ooh. That's the sound of a fourth up to fa, do, fa. That's pretty close, isn't it? So without any water in this glass at all, it's almost fa. Do, fa, do, so. All right, you get the idea. This is, if we did mi, we go do, re, mi. That's pretty close. Okay, and then I did re 2 earlier. Let's see how it goes. Do, re. That's a little high, isn't it? Do, re. Do, re, mi, fa, so. Okay. Let's try la. Do, la, do, la. There it is. Do, la. Well, that's a little high. Let's see if we can bring it down. Yeah, I'll put it over here so I can reach it. Do, do, la. Do, la, lo, la, do, la. Okay, and then I found, as it turns out, while I was looking around the house to try to find a glass that would work for tea, I found that my Vlasic Zesty Dill Pickle jar is exactly in this key, E, which is T for us. Well, it might be a little sharp. I'll put a little in there. And high do, 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 and there it is. There's my scale. And now we have an instrument, do to do, using glasses and water. Well, now that we have our instrument, we could play some songs that you know. For example, if you're in pre-K or kindergarten or first grade, a lot of our songs use so and me, like Apple Tree. Also, Starlight, Star Bright, So Me, So Me. John Kanaka Naka. How about Sally Go Round the Sun? That's Do, 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 do. Mi, 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 mi. So, 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 la, so, mi, do. Mi, mi, re, re, do. If you're in third grade or fourth grade, maybe you'd know, or fifth grade, you might know the song Liza Jane. I got a home in Baltimore. Sorry, let me try it again. Second graders and third graders, we did that song, Let Us Chase the Squirrel. We played that game. Let us chase the squirrel. Sorry. Okay, one of the things that I said I wanted you to understand is the relationship between different notes of the scale, like from do to re, do to mi, do to so, etc. So we're going to talk about that now. You saw when we tuned how they sounded as we were tuning them. We went one at a time, but let's take a second look. The notes from do to so. If you have seen the movie The Wizard of Oz, which we used to watch every year when I was growing up as a kid. Anyway, there was a place where the soldiers they're hiding. The Scarecrow and the Tin Man and Dorothy and the Lion. They're trying to sneak into the castle, and they dress like soldiers, and they're marching along, and the soldiers go, ooh, ooh, ooh. That's how I remember that sound. The sound from do to fa is most famous from the wedding song. Do, 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 here comes a bride. Do, mi. Do, re. Okay, so there's a particular sound when you play the notes together. So this is the sound of the do and so together. When we play our bass lines, we often use do and so together. Or, okay, that we would call a fifth. We start on the note and count up till we get to the next note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the sound, this is a fifth. What we call the distance between these two notes is a fifth. And it sounds like that. Fifths always sound like that. Okay, so we have these fifths. If you go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, now the distance between those two is a fourth. Do to fa is a fourth. So it has a particular sound, doesn't it? If I go up 3, 1, 2, 3, that's a third. And there's two kinds of thirds, a major third and a minor third. That's like big third and little third. And we'll talk about that some other time, but thirds are note, skip a note, note, and they sound real nice together. Nice, huh? Okay, and the distance from any note to the note next to it is a second. Do to re, re to mi to fa, etc. Any two notes next to each other, neighbors, are called seconds. Now you notice that that second sounds different than these seconds. Crunchier. These two are major seconds, and this is a minor second. That sound of a major second, that is part of a familiar song I'm sure you've heard. They call it chopsticks. Okay, in case you wanted, if you do make an instrument like this and you wanted to play some songs, I sent as an attachment a piece of paper that has some of the songs that you know written out, and then it also has the solfege, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, underneath, so you could play the songs if you know the order of the solfege. Oops, I touched my face. Sorry. Okay, now it could be that maybe you need those glasses for supper, and then you have to pour all the water out, and you think, oh rats, it's going to take me forever to tune them up again. So what I did was, I made a little map, and I measured the water and drew a line where it was. So the next time, I can just fill this glass to the line, and I know that it's do, and that one is re, that one is mi, and fa, so, la. Got a little crazy over here because I ran out of room. Anyway, that's T and do. So I just used the back of a extra package because it's stiff, and that's my ruler. Okay. I thought we should meet the glasses. These guys over here, these four, those are just our regular drinking glasses, and those are easy to find. I was going to use only 8 of these, just these, but it didn't go high enough. I could only have a range of from do to fa. So then I found another drinking glass that was a little smaller, and that worked for so. And then these two are kind of, well, let me talk about high do first. This is kind of a special glass to me because it was my grandmother's glass. This is what they used to drink out of for special kind of rose glass. They worked great for high do. Now these two I thought were interesting because you would think that this one would be way lower because it's so much bigger. But I'm not exactly sure why. To tell you the truth, I suspect it might have something to do with either the kind of glass that it is or the thickness of the glass. But this one is lower than the big one is, so that's counterintuitive. You would think that the little one would be higher. Another thing about this one, doesn't it ring nicely? That's because this one is a very, the walls are really thin, and it helps it to ring nicer. It's sort of a decorative glass. I bought it. It's a special from an artisan who makes glasses and things from glass. Anyway, I thought it was interesting that the little one is bigger. The little one sounds lower than the big one. You also notice. See how it rings so nice? Ding, keeps going. Nice sound. Plunk, plunk, plunk. Not a very good sound. But it was the right pitch, and it was all I could find, so I used it. Okay, those are my glasses. You may have noticed when I first started, I was using this screwdriver because I thought it made the best sound. But later, when I was playing the songs, I started using the back of my mallet. And that's because when I was playing with the screwdriver, if I hit these small glasses very hard, it started to slide. And I didn't want them to slide off or get knocked over. So I used this one because I could hit the little glasses without them going too far. This remote teaching makes me so thirsty. Oh no, I just drank me.